Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Monday, February 3rd, 2025, pre-market report. So here's the situation here. Obviously, these tariffs are in effect, and there are retaliatory tariffs back on the United States. This did occur, obviously. The market wasn't sure about it on Friday when the news was announced, but here we are. Okay. With regard to the Trump's airstrikes on Somalia, I don't see that as playing into anything that we're seeing here right now. This is really all about the tariffs. However, let's look at the what's happening here real quick. So the Asian markets overnight, okay, losses, but look at the percentages here. Look at these percentages. I mean, nothing overly dramatic, okay, some, but not miserable. Let's look at the European market. Same thing. Check out those percentages here. Okay. So, okay, it's all well and good. Let's get another glimpse as to what appears to be unfolding right here, right now, with regard to the U.S. market. So, stock futures are down pretty substantially, but again, look at the percentages. This could play out to be much worse, but I know these numbers look big. Look at the Dow, down almost 650 points here. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, it really isn't so overly, again, dramatic. Now, let's look here at the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield did come down a little bit. No, if you see this, if we were to see this to drop to like a 4.45 or so, which it may do, that would maybe send us a bigger signal that the market is anticipating this to get a lot worse. Let's look at something else here. This is the classic knee jerk into the dollar that you would expect to see. Okay, whatever. Again, as of right now, nothing dramatic is going on here. Let's look at the MMRI. It's pretty much flat. All right, again, another telltale sign that maybe this is going to get resolved sooner than later. With regard to the yield curve itself, it did flatten out a little bit. So we're getting a little bit, or should I say, a mixed signal here from the debt market. An anticipation that maybe it's not going to be so bad, but with regard to the collateral damage, with regard to the this trade war that we are in. Clearly, we're in a trade war, obviously. So, but we need to see how this is going to play out. This could resolve very quickly. Again, President Trump today is going to talk to Canada and Mexico, see if they can square this up. If this ends quickly, this would be a very good thing for everyone here. Anyway, let's move forward before we go on to that because I want to discuss a few things with you. So, gold and silver and crude. Well, not so much gold and silver, but crude's catching a nice bid. Bitcoin lower across the board. People, this is a volatile asset class. It's not going to zero, so stop. Stop. Okay, we got the crypto president. He's not going to let this happen again. The president working with the Federal Reserve. You heard what Powell said recently, just that the Fed is willing to accept this. Of course they are. They're loading up on it. Of course. I mean, come on, man. Anyway, look. So here's the deal. I covered some of this yesterday, but let's talk a little more about it. If this trade war does end quickly, let's really hope that does. Okay, everything will be okay. The markets will bounce back, although they're still in la-la land no matter what happens. The distortions here in the stock market are beyond freaking belief on the back of what? Artificially suppressed rates, a currency devaluation. You all know that mechanism is not going to stop. The bigger picture here is, yes, indeed, the consumer would, in fact, get hit if this tariff or this trade war were prolonged. But what's the real part of the economy that would get hit the worst here? Obviously, small businesses here in the United States and, of course, around the world as well. Corporations here, they got they got a lot of cash stashed around for things like this. They can weather the storm. It's almost like COVID. You remember they shut down the economy during COVID, and small businesses pretty much got eliminated. but the big corporations, they were able to weather the storm. It's the small businesses that are going to be sacrificed if this goes on. Don't be surprised to see that happen. Again, the mechanism is very, very simple. The corporate agenda will be fulfilled. That means that they don't want any competition from a mom and pop shop or whatever it might be. They want these things gone. You have to understand, the 1 and 2 percenters, they really don't care at all about you or anything. All they care is about themselves, greed, sucking whatever they can right out of you. So here's, it could go either way. Either this really does end soon, and that would be great for everyone, honestly. If it goes on, you will see with beyond any shadow of a doubt, a wave of small business failures across the board and around the world, and corporations, they're going to be standing strong here. You know they will, especially if the Fed gets in here and lowers rates as Trump is demanding. Because the lower rates here, what does it do? It weakens the dollar, which is fantastic for multinational corporations that trade overseas because of the exchange rate. I mean, do you see it? Come on, man. It's too easy to understand the game that is played on We the People over and over and over and over and over again. It doesn't stop. So, anyway, that's kind of where we stand here. Let's keep our eye on a couple of things today. Again, let's just back up for a moment. Yes, we got a sell-off in the Asian markets and the European markets overnight. Okay, whatever. We're slated right now. Trading doesn't start for about 40 minutes from the time I am doing this video blog. The setup for the market isn't anything overly dramatic. Don't go running for the doors. Don't go, screaming around your house. There's nothing really going on here right now, okay? So let's not, we never rattle. We look at the situation, we evaluate the situation, and then we take action. What does that mean for you and I, man? Look, they're not going to stop inflating. How do I say this to you guys and girls another way? The mechanism of central banks colluding with world leaders to punish the currency, that's in full force here. I demand that the Fed lower rates. Obviously, this is the Fed making that statement here, and this is a game that's being set up. We called it. It's happening exactly like we said it would. So if we understand that in the midst of everything else that we're seeing, what do you want to do? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to stop betting against the system, which we know is being inflated to death, and that's punishing the middle class around the world? No, you're going to continue to do that. Let me tell you something, really. What my heart goes out to right now is those of you who own a small business here. You're being eliminated. You can't be allowed to exist in this environment. The corporate agenda is going to be fulfilled. There's just no doubt about it. Period. The freaking end. Along with the military industrial complex and more airstrikes wherever, because Trump said he's going to hunt these people down and kill them wherever they are in the world. So you're going to see more of these things, obviously, more movements of munitions all over the world. That's just the way it's going to go. And unfortunately, you think you're going to be able to stop that? Really? No. They always keep the war card in their back. And I'm talking about kinetic war. This is a war. For those of you that think that economic warfare is not war, well, you're obviously completely deluded here. It is warfare. People suffer, and there's the collateral damage from this. People are always, the middle class is always forced to bear the burden of whatever action is taken by our so-called governments that are here to protect us. And they sell it to you. Okay, this is all going to turn out to be okay, but you got to suffer first. But the suffering here, if this is prolonged, mark my words on what I'm telling you right now. If you have a small business, you now have a target over you. They want you gone. If this is prolonged, you will be gone in favor of the corporate agenda. You understand? Does this sound about right to you? Of course it does, because it is right. So with that said, look, we got to keep our eyes on a few things here. To me, looking at the debt market, I'm getting somewhat of a mixed signal here. We got the flattening out of the yield curve. Okay, that tells us that the debt market, at least right now, it's saying, hey, you know what? This may go on longer than we think. But there's always the possibility that, this gets resolved quickly. Let's hope that's what happens here. Now, with regard to the stock market, look, man, this isn't real. None of it's real. There's no price discovery anymore. The market has been built upon oceans of debt on a scale that we've never seen before. It's a house of cards built over a pool of gasoline that is going to go up when the debt market implodes on itself, and this is being set up by design on purpose. There's no other way to look at this here. What do you think world leaders are colluding with their central banks to continue to inflate, to allow these institutions to gain power? The corporate agenda, let's get rid of small businesses. Again, the same thing in a little bit of a twist with regard to COVID, Trump's last term. Small businesses got destroyed. If this goes on, this trade war, which is war, collateral damage, people suffer, small businesses getting wiped out. It's war. Small businesses here in the United States and around the world are going to suffer on a massive scale. So just understand that. I believe that most of you get it, and that's just the way it's going to go here. All right. So with that said, people, look, man, we're going to continue what we're doing. Keep on keeping on, man. They're not going to stop inflating. We're going to continue to bet against this system, hold hard assets. Silver still my favorite asset of all time. With regard to cryptocurrencies and this dip we're seeing, buy it. As I don't know another way to put this to you. Could it potentially drop lower? Absolutely. Could it drop much lower? Absolutely. But we're being bridged into a new system. People, wake the freak up. Trump's executive orders are allowing not just the Fed now to get on the boat bandwagon to buy crypto, but the banks now have exposure to. They have. Believe me, you're going to see things moving forward with regard to cryptocurrencies. You're not going to believe. You're not going to believe. This is the setup. The world is de-dollarizing, even though Trump is threatening the BRICS nations with 100% tariffs if they try to circumvent the dollar. Trump's threatening Panama right now with regard to control of the Panama Canal. I mean, it's a very interesting time to be alive. A lot of stuff going on here. You understand? But we're not going to change our strategy. Our strategy is dead on. Now, with regard to getting back in this market, Lions, you know what I'm looking for. There's going to be some people that are going to be bottom fishing here. I don't want you to bottom fish. Stop with the freaking FOMO here. Okay, you want to play around with it. You have a few dollars to play with, and I mean play money. Okay, I get it. You want to play around, that's fine. But before you put any real money back into this market, we want to see, I'll tell you again, this market has gone nowhere. Do you realize we're still below with regard to the broader market, the S&P 500, the December high in December 5th, 6088? Okay, we're waiting for that. We need to wait for the right time to pounce. Does that make sense to you? That's my take on it. All right, you guys and girls, of course, sophisticated investors, you do what you want. You're taking advantage of distortions. That's all you're doing. You're not taking advantage of a real market. This is insanity on an epic scale. This is just taking advantage of price action distortions, which are probably going to get worse with more easy money. Because that's all this whole thing is here. And if we see a wipeout of small businesses here, which I think will happen, there's no doubt if this trade war goes on, collateral damage, people suffering collateral damage, of course, all war has collateral damage here. Of course, this is going to be beneficial to the corporations. They do not want competition. You understand? You think maybe we're being played here a little bit more, or is everything that we're seeing actually real? You think it's real, or you think there's maybe something else going on here? All right. Start to think, people, outside the box. What do they want? They want to fulfill the corporate agenda. They want to inflate the system. They want small businesses gone. They want people to, unfortunately, suffer dependency on the system. Does that sound familiar to you? I've only been telling you this for, I don't know, 10 years. That's what they want. Does it sound about right to you? Or is Greg completely wrong? Let me know. All right, I promise to read the comments. All right, people, that's kind of it. So I hope you got something out of this video. We covered a lot here. Let's just see what happens. Keep your eyes on the MMRI. It's going to give us a huge clue. Right now, it's telling us nothing. The MMRI is telling us this is probably going to end sooner than later. But keep your eyes on this. If we start to see movement here with regard to the MMRI, to the upside or the downside, that's going to give us all an idea as to where the debt market is always right. Have you heard that before? The MMRI uses the 10-year yield, which is the benchmark, and it uses the dollar on a relative strength basis, currency being units of debt here, to allow us to understand what's happening. Whether you use the MMI or not, I don't really care. I hope you do. It will give you a little insight. It's completely free to use. And there is, again, a link in the description of this video. All right, let's get out of here for now. I will see all of you later, 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. Love you guys and girls from the heart with all I got. I mean this, and I'll see you later, okay? Until we meet again, please take care of yourselves and each other.